A lot of people think what's going on as far as police brutality, police using excessive force, police shootings and killings, all this that's hitting the media so quickly, so rapidly, for some reason, a lot of people think that this may be a conspiracy. And it's not very far-fetched from one. The thing about a conspiracy is that one must ask, why would someone use something like this? Police brutality, police using excessive force, dehumanizing a group of people, a certain race and culture, nationality of people in a country. What is it that this somebody or this group that may be using this, what is it that they're covering up? What is it that they're trying to divert our attention away from or distract us away from? We must ask this question. You see, because of all this police brutality, police shootings and killings of black males and black youth could be used to divert attention away from Obama's executive order on immigration, which got many Republicans up in arms. Distract people away from Obama's executive order on immigration so that people won't support him in his decision. You see, the same people who are out there protesting and doing a die-in or a lie-in or a sit-in or whatever it may be are the same people who most likely voted for Obama in 2008 and in 2012, most likely. But this can be something not only used by Republicans to try to distract people away from the Democrats. This could be very much used by the heavily regulating and reforming Democrats as well. This could be used as an attention grabber and a encouragement, or more so an urgency to gain supporters for Obama's earlier vow to fundamentally mend the relationship between communities of color and police, which could possibly later down the line help encourage momentum for the Democrats in Obama's gun ban. Remember that, very much so. Could help encourage momentum for Obama's gun ban, since the Democrats and Obama's mission is to get communities of color to put trust in law enforcement and within the law system itself, where people will no longer see and look at the government as a threat or enemy. Because a lot of people take that Second Amendment right as the right to protect yourself away from a tyrant government. Yeah. Republicans may have Dr. Ben Carson, the famous neurosurgeon, who I believe had twins that was joined by the head, and he was able to split them safely. Dr. Ben Carson, many on Republicans' radar, may be a very hopeful candidate running for the presidential office. Dr. Ben Carson comes off as a very moral-driven man, where a lot of his values are in the right direct line with Catholic principles. Dr. Ben Carson is not a biracial man, but he is a definite black man, a conservative one at that. Those on the right wing, Republicans, could very easily make all this about having the right values, morals, and principles, being subservient and obedient to the system, while the Democrats could try to mend, can try to forge, manipulate, deceive the people into having trust within the system. The Republicans want the people to be more obedient to the system. The Republicans will be like, well, you should never dress like that in that area. You should never have that mean mug on your face. You should never carry that type of weapon in public. You know, it's your fault. Where's your morals, your values? Where's your principles? Did your parents give you any type of home training? You know, subservient, obedient to the system. Where the Democrats will manipulatively and be deceptive with the way they mend people's trust for the system. You see, this could be used, all this police brutality and the police using excessive force and the police getting away with the murders that they are doing. This could be used to gain more political support for either party in the next coming up election. The one thing people have to understand about American politics is that using the race card, pumping fear of a race as being criminal, and planting fear within a race of people all makes good politics. If Obama, his administration, and other Democrats and supporters could bring unusual heightened attention to the police shootings and killings of black males and black youth in the media, in order to generate political support and gain political favor and votes for the November 4th midterm election of 2014, which have passed, then in the event when Democrats don't win where they needed to, the Republicans, the opposing party, could use the very same bait to reel in much stronger support than just people who want a change of party or change of political direction. See, many people don't understand how the Republican Party, the party that freed blacks from slavery, became the party that despises blacks, and for some odd reason tends to make life a little harder for struggling low and minimum wage black folk. Throughout the 1950s, before the Civil Rights Movement, the South voted heavily Democrat. According to former Congressman C. Bruce Littlejohn, in the South, if one had leanings other than Democrat, he did not go around boasting of it in public. Oh no. You see, in 1968, a Southern politician split the solid Democrat South in the presidential race. His name was George Wallace. George Wallace was the notorious segregationist governor of Alabama. He ran on the American Independent ticket. George Wallace gave a voice to a growing national white backlash in the mid-1960s. The federal government under the Democrat leadership of John F. Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson had championed a series of new civil rights bills, among them the Voting Rights Act of 1964. Civil rights workers headed south to register African American voters, mostly of which were New Democrats. According to biographer and author Dan T. Carter, if George Wallace did not create this mood of national skepticism, he anticipated and exploited the political transformation that it brought. His attacks on the federal government have become the gospel of modern day conservatism. His rhetoric, George Wallace's rhetoric, laid the foundation for new ground rules of political warfare. Yeah. And then came the Reagan Revolution, the Ronald Reagan and George Bush. Ronald Reagan and George Bush have built on the legacy of resentment tapped into by George Wallace. Social issues within society. When I say social issues within society, I mean more so class issues and race issues, more race issues than class. But the social issues within society became a prominent issue within political campaigns. And even white evangelical Christians proved to be a powerful voter base for the Republicans. Considering this one particular trend, we may get a better understanding on why Republicans have kept so steadfast to its loyal base. See, since 1984, the South has supported the Republican presidential nominee at a higher percentage than the country as a whole. At the presidential level, the South is now the most Republican region of the country, you see. And I wanted to go back and mention that I say unusual heightened attention of the police shootings and killings of black males and black youth in the media, because like I said in my Trayvon Martin video, where I call out radio personalities and Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, these types of racial profiling, police brutalities and bullying happens all the time. Little do people know that every day in this country there's a black male or black youth getting shot at, threatened, and or killed by a police officer. One must see all this and wonder, why now? Why now do they bring heightened attention to an issue that has already been? Why now, when an election is very close by, that there is major media attention and focus on something that happens every day? Why now, when Obama and Democrats are losing popular favor amongst the people, that there is heightened media attention on things that happens all the time, but very rarely, and in most cases, sometimes never, gets reported? Obama has made it perfectly clear that he is not the president for just black people, but is the president of the American people. We cannot be too sure that if we had more Democrats in the Senate and more Democrats in the House, that the outcome would be any different for the Michael Brown and Eric Garner cases. Obama is a politician's politician, meaning he loves the art of compromising. He is not known for George Bushing the button, even though he tries to be known as that and try to get tougher, has a tougher image. He try to display a tougher image. He's not known for George Bushing the button. He's a thinker. He thinks before he do. Whereas George Bush, and I've seen an interview where somebody asked him about the economy. He said, "Isn't that a question for an economist?" Obviously, George Bush do not think before he open his mouth and before he do things. Okay. So Obama is not known for George Bushing the button. Obama likes to find a middle ground, a neutral position. Obama is a politician's politician. Even his little push and executive order on immigration comes with the price of trying to meet on some sort of middle ground. According to Obama's executive order, out of 11 million illegal and undocumented immigrants in America, 5.4 million has to be deported back to their homeland, while 4.7 million can stay without threat of deportation. What a good way of trying to even the odds, huh? Even President Lincoln, who Obama idolizes, had to force his hand down on the abolishment of slavery in America. There was no compromising that. Obama is just not known for having the balls to be radically progressive. Obama knows his place and he knows who he works for. You can see it. You can see it on how he greet black people with a one-handed handshake and a head nod with an occasional pat on the back, compared to how he greet powerful white people with a two-handed handshake and a bow. As President Roosevelt said, everything in politics is planned. All this attention to police brutality and excessive force towards blacks could be something drawn early to give Democrats that shining lining in 2016 when America votes for its next president. Or Republicans could play on the fear of ghetto black rage, as they sometimes do, to create stronger support in 2016. Of course, this is if protests and aggravation continues. Again, we live in a land where using the race card, pumping fear of a race as being criminal, and planting fear within a race of people all makes for good politics. ForBetterConditions.org. Support the cause. Support the cause.